Today on Under the Big Tree, listening to the random source Serge modular variable slope VCF. In part 1 of this two-part series on the random source Serge modular variable slope VCF, we built and debugged the module. In this part, we put this wonderful sounding filter through its paces, listening to it and going through each function. Let's check it out. Okay, now it's time to hear how this thing actually sounds. So I have this unit plugged into my system. I have a sawtooth from the new timbral oscillator, also by random source, coming into this input, and a white noise channel coming in here so we can hear how the filter works with both of those kinds of sounds. I currently have the output plugged into the low-pass filter out, and then it's going into my mixer so I can hear it, and I'm also recording it into my bitbox at the same time. So let's start by just turning up the frequency. This is the low-pass. There's no resonance and there's no slope, which is the shape of the filter itself. So there we are, listening to the sawtooth wave itself. Let's use the mixer to mix between them and bring in the white noise. There's the white noise. It is so useful to have two inputs coming into this filter and be able to mix between them. It almost gives you two filters at the same time. So let's go back to our sawtooth, bring up the filter cutoff. Now let's play with the resonance or Q a little bit. Now we're not hearing much while it's already all the way open, but as we start bringing down the low pass filter, we're starting to hear that wow, wow, wow sound. And if we bring up the shape of the slope, we get that really classic low-pass filter sound. Awesome. Now, of course, we can do that also using control voltages. So let's bring in an LFO and attach it to the filter cutoff. Slow that down. Now, the control voltages for the filter cutoff and for the slope are attenuverters. So we can set it to no control voltage a little bit, and then we can invert it by going this way. And we'll have to bring it up a little bit instead. So we get a completely different kind of sound. Now with a negative polarity, it's taking away from the filter cutoff rather than the other way around. Now cut that last part. All right, very cool. Now, let's do the same thing with the slope. So we'll add So now we have another LFO from the maths going in and affecting the control voltage of the slope or of the shape of the filter. If we bring the Q down, we don't hear as much. There's an interesting interaction between the slope, shape, and the resonance. And if we bring this up, really emphasizes that kind of sound. Now, just for the fun of it, let's actually plug into the 1 volt per octave input which has an effect on the cue or on the resonance as well. So I've got a little sequence going on. And now we can bring this back. And there we go. Let's hear what all that sounds like with the white noise. So cool. And while we're here, let's have a listen to the bandpass filter and the highpass filter both. Here's the bandpass filter. We'll have to tweak the filter cutoff a little bit to try to be able to find I'll turn this stuff all the way down. So here we go. Useful for making wind sounds. Of course, the bandpass is just giving us a band in the middle of the frequency range. We can bring up the resonance. And there is our sort of classic wind sound. Let's hear what it sounds like on the high pass. Very good for an avalanche or a blizzard. Now let's crank back up the slope. And now, just to cap it off, let's go back and listen to the sawtooth. Very liquidy kind of sound. It's just incredible. The different kinds of sounds, the number of different flavors of stuff you can get out of this single filter with nothing more than a sawtooth or some white noise and then a little bit of modulation of the parameters is just astounding. This is why I love Eurorack and modular in general so much. And once again, Random Source has shown me that the sound quality and the behavior of their modules is something that really, really appeals to me. So that's it for this episode of Under the Big Tree. As always, if you like what we're doing here, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. For now, this is Nick, signing off.